He's just lying to get his way. See, what you're having here really is a battle of frames, okay? And on the left-hand side, you have Elon Musk, who has rock solid frame, founded in truth. And the right side, you have this guy James Clayton, and his frame is not his frame. It was given to him. He's fucking little. And this is what beta males do. They're servants to guys who are smarter than them, alphas, political people who are using them as puppets. Okay, this guy's a puppet. He doesn't think for himself. Kidding me? You think this guy sits around and thinks for himself? This guy is a slime ball. If you have life experience, you can tell that this guy on the right hand side is a slime ball of a man. It is a greasy human being. And you can tell too, he's kind of like getting off on this. The way he's smiling and laughing and on the right hand side here. He's really getting off on this. He's getting, because this is the highlight of his life, being able to get humiliated by Elon Musk. I'm gonna rewind this a little bit so you can listen to more.
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen that for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I
you just lied.
What? No,
he got it right there. He got it. So he caught him blatantly in a lie. And watch his. I'm gonna rewind it again, let it play through. But watch him try to weasel his way out.
What are you talking about?
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed,
you just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not, I mean, right. And,
and then now he says there are many organizations that say that that type of content is on the rise. This is like, okay, so who are these organizations? How are they collecting this data? Oh, NPR is blah, blah, blah. Okay, how are they sourcing this data? Seriously. It's not. It's just a narrative. Ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter, Twitter has been fucking awesome. I used to fucking hate Twitter. Cesspool of garbage for just a bunch of bottom-dwelling people in society. And it was just a nasty rut of a shithole to be in. It's become far better now. Far, 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 far better. Way far better. And this guy right here is just now. This is what these slimy beta males do. Now they'll just say like, oh, everyone said this, or these organizations say this. He tries to create this phantom support group behind him. It's not there. It doesn't exist. If again, when you have rock solid frame, guys, okay, and you are confident in who you are, and you're confident in what you do, and you're confident in what you believe, okay, the reality is very, very simple and clear. And this is the real epitome of being a real man. Okay. If you have rock solid frame, this is you. Right here. Yes. You are all wrong. That was me with all this other garbage out there. Propaganda. The militant people. All this shit. Okay. The forcing of this on people. Whatever you want to say. I'm not backing down. I know what's going on. I know exactly what's happening. That's rock solid frame. You don't need the world behind you, because the truth is your ally, and a powerful ally it is. So now he's got caught in a blatant lie. He's going to weasel his way out and try to source these phantom sources.
A single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed,
you just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not, I mean, right, and
Literally
you can
can't
look at
name
someone
one.
like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK. They will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a
Right.
single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I've already said, I don't use that feed. But
Then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We have.
So he's trying to, now he's saying, let's move on. Let's move on. I'm clearly caught in my lie. I'm clearly caught in my manipulation. Let's move on. Look, guys, I'm telling you, the thing is this too. The great thing about the internet is it has been the exposer of truth. Okay. And the last thing that people are able to use to stop the truth is censorship. That's the last thing. But the thing is this, right? So now everybody knows that censorship is a problem. So the first step of being aware of a problem, right? That's the first step. Once you're aware of a problem, the next step becomes the solutions construction, right? And this censorship stuff is not going to work. It is not going to fucking work. There are too many smart individual people out there. There's too much free access to technology. Let's continue on. Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm going to break down this guy's Twitter, show you the anatomy of a scumbag too.
The hateful content was high.
Well,
that's a false.
No, what I
claimed, you just lied.
What I claim was there are many organizations that say that that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not, I mean, right, and
literally
you can look at someone like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK. They will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I've already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time.
Wow.
COVID misinformation. You
amazing.
You changed the COVID misinformation.
Has BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
I'm literally asking.
Got hit again. Got it again. Look at that again. Watch this. You can see because when you debate these people, this is an example of why when you fucking debate these people, you have to have rock solid frame. Like, for example, when I was debating Bangs on the whatever podcast, right? So with her, she fucking was sitting there running her mouth, blah, 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 using all these like manipulative buzzwords. You're sitting here talking a panel of young girls, and that's just not the way you're talking young girls. No, you dumb thing. Shut your fucking mouth, because you are a young girl. I'm a 37-year-old man who's lived life, who's made millions of dollars, who's traveled the fucking world. I'm smarter than you. I'm wiser than you. I'm better than you in literally every way. So you're qualified to do two things: shut the fuck up and to listen. Those are your qualifies. Those are your qualifications. Step one. What's my qualification? Shut the fuck up. Got it. What's the next thing I'm qualified to do? Listen. Okay, cool.
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more.
So now he says he goes hate speech, and he's like, okay, this is not getting anywhere. He clearly loses that round, and then watch what he does again.
Hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time.
Wow.
COVID misinformation. You changed the COVID misinformation.
Has BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
Because again, let me break it down for you guys. What's happening? Okay, so what this is an interview. Okay, but the reality is it's a smear job. That's exactly what this is. I feel like my chair is too low. Hold on, got that Herman Miller. If you don't know. You don't know. It's okay. One day, maybe you can get a Herman Miller chair. I got the desk a little just there. Got the motorized desk right here, living large, baby. So what's happening right now? This is structured as an interview, right? But the reality is this is an attempted hit piece. So the first thing this slime ball James Clayton tried to do was to smear Elon Musk and saying, "Oh, hate speech is on the rise. Hate speech is on the rise." You know, and there is no indicator of any like hate speech on the rise from that this man can source. Then he's like, "Oh well, I'm fucking out here witnessing a gigantic amount of hate speech, right?" And he's like, "Okay, give me one example." Oh, nothing. Okay, so he loses that one. Got to move on. Step number 2 here. Now you have him switching again to smear Elon, saying, "Oh well, you know what? Twitter. There's a lot of COVID misinformation on Twitter." First of all, Elon was in control of COVID he was not in control of Twitter during COVID. And Jack and his team of Indians were. And then secondly, he's trying to just again put finger blame on Elon. And Elon's like, "No, wait a minute. You worked for the BBC, and what about their misinformation?" Watch him squirm here.
BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, and then disappeared. Why do that?
Okay, COVID is no longer an issue. Does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations, and not reporting on that at all? And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This is not an interview about the BBC.
Oh, you thought it wasn't?
And I see now why you've done Twitter Spaces. I am not a representative of the BBC's editorial policy. I want to make that clear. Let's talk about something else.
I'm interviewing you too.
All right, let's talk about something else.
You weren't expecting that.
So he caught him. He destroyed him. He shut him down, and the guy's credibility is further in the hole.